Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another episode of Success with Cess, where we help you make your dreams come true. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, and leave your comments and questions because I love to interact. Hey, good afternoon, folks. Welcome again to another episode of Success with Cess here in the 2023 season of the show. Today is my guest, Edmund, Knolle, a good friend of mine. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Cess. Thanks for having me.
You bet, you bet. Edmund and I met through the EAH Breakfast Club, otherwise known as the best damn breakfast club in America.
That's right.
I think he will attest to that as along. When did you join the club?
I joined probably 4 years ago.
Okay, and I joined about 2 years ago. So we're both relatively newcomers,
right,
compared to some of the guys that have been in there for a long time.
We're the young folks.
That's right. So we're kind of deviating a little bit in terms of some of the things that we've talked about on the show. Edmund is a specialist in the area of natural gas storage, and it's something that we laymen rarely ever think about. As we were talking about before the show started, mostly what we think about is, gas being available when we're getting ready to cook and making sure that our water's hot. So Edmund, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started in this area.
Sure. So natural gas storage was not something I was seeking when I was in college, but I initially went to law school, practiced law for a couple of years, and then went back and got my MBA and worked for an investment firm making energy investments. And spent a lot of time looking at different types of storage, energy storage, investment opportunities. And about 2000, joined up with a team of guys to start a development company to develop underground natural gas storage facilities in Texas and elsewhere in the United States. And I've been doing that off and on through the years with private equity-backed companies and public companies,
right.
Through different cycles of the business, and currently working on a pretty interesting project close to Houston.
Okay, and it's something, again, what we don't think about, and it's out there, the pipelines and the storage facilities. Tell us a little bit about that. We'll superimpose the map,
sure,
so that the folks can see that map of all the pipelines and just this general vicinity.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people don't realize are how many pipelines are already out there that serve industrial, commercial, residential needs of all types: natural gas, crude oil, products, specialty gases. And if you were interested in seeing that, the Texas Railroad Commission has a website page that will show you all the pipelines.
Texas Railroad Commission, okay.
Right,
all right, remember that.
Yeah, and the Texas Railroad Commission is one of their responsibilities is regulating intrastate pipelines in the state of Texas. So they have pipelines moving products and gases all over the place, from production areas to refineries and households and utilities. Storage operates in the middle of that as a shock absorber to balance supply and demand, and provide reliability, whether it's for natural gas service for electric power generators, or natural gas liquids to refineries, or crude oil. And the Strategic Petroleum Reserve is an example that everybody's familiar with,
right,
where at least we used to store crude oil in.
And they've used quite a bit of it up.
That's right, and a lot of those are stored in salt domes. A lot of those are around Houston and Louisiana.
Right. And to think about it in a way that maybe I could relate to is in terms of real estate. For example, right now we're having a lot of volatility, supply and demand issues in real estate. And if we had home storage where we could all of a sudden pull out some homes and have available, it would kind of balance out.
That's right. It would take some supply off the market.
Yeah, it would put some more supply on the market.
Well, on the market, both ways.
So
you can take it on and put it off when it's needed.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about how that works for the average person out there that's not thinking about gas being stored and and balancing out the availability and the reliability of our gas supply.
Right. So historically, storage was developed and operated by large pipelines, and then back in the 1990s, this natural gas business was so-called deregulated and disintermediated. So there are companies that own just pipelines. There's companies that own production. The pipelines don't own the gas that goes through those pipelines.
What are some of those companies that we would recognize?
Producers would be Exxon, EOG, Anadarko, Apache.
Okay. All right.
Pipelines would be Kinder Morgan, Enterprise Products, on, and some of the producers have their own pipeline subsidiaries.
Okay.
And then they also own storage, like Kinder Morgan is one of the largest owners of underground storage in the country. And then there are independent developers who develop storage, and those independent developers typically in the last 20, 25 years have been the ones to initiate development of new projects.
Mm-hmm.
And then they typically end up in the hands of a larger company like a Kinder Morgan or a Williams or something like that.
What are some of the challenges facing you in your current project?
So it's a large project, and like any large project, there are a lot of things that have to come together over time. Everything from land, geology, the due diligence, the market, the contracts with customers, financing. Lots of things have to come together, and they have all come together, in a relatively seamless way, and within changing markets. And
Okay. You were giving some examples at your breakfast club of some really crazy deals that you were involved with.
right, I think what I was talking about there was some of the cycles we've seen in the natural gas business. I mean, the storage business is just a subset of the natural gas business. And I think anybody that's been around, especially Houston, the last 20, 30 years, understands that oil and gas prices go up and down, and investments go up and down, and people get levered up when things are going well, and
Right.
things go down, and timing is always very important.
Right. You were giving me an example of a facility and what it would take to run the state of Texas. Go over that a little bit.
Yeah, just kind of high level. I think just to give people a idea of how big these facilities can be. They can be very small. 1 billion cubic feet of natural gas inventory would be a very small gas storage facility, and they go up to hundreds of BCF, especially in the Midwest. The kinds of facilities we look at developing are typically between 10 and 30 BCF in salt domes. There's an existing facility not that far away from our project that's around 34 BCF, similar to what ours will look like. And just kind of back of the envelope math, 34 BCF would power, if all the electricity in Texas was provided by natural gas,
Right.
just for example, that facility would power the entire state of Texas for a solid week.
34 BCF, 34 billion cubic.
Billion cubic feet of
Right.
natural gas.
Right. And is that held in salt domes or?
It's so that one and the one we're working on is developed out of a salt dome. So salt dome is
It's geologic.
it's a very large geologic structure. It's a pillar of salt, basically. It's like a skyscraper of solid salt underground. It can be tens of thousands of feet deep.
It's not permeable, so it can hold.
Right,
Yeah.
and so the company that develops it will leach that salt and create a cavern within that solid mass.
Mhm.
It's like a Coke bottle.
Right.
and store the gas in there, and then you have compression and gas treating facilities on top.
Yeah, yeah. So how do the folks get involved in your project if they would like to in some form or fashion?
Well, we're out there, of course, having conversations with investment groups, potential strategic partners. Some of our customers have indicated they're interested in investing in the project.
Good deal. Good deal.
So we hope to be in service by 2026.
2026. That's just 3 years away. There's plenty of time to get connected to Edmund, find out more about the project. Natural gas storage, it's something that's important in our everyday lives. As you well know, whether you want hot water, you want to be able to cook or run your fireplace in the winter. One of the examples that you gave me before we head out of here was during the most recent Snowmageddon ice storm. What was it?
Uri.
Yeah. And how the gas storage is what kind of came to the rescue. Is that right?
That's right, and that would be an extreme example, but in the past, hurricanes have been another example where gas storage was, that's not what it's really intended for on a daily basis, but when you have all that gas stored underground in an emergency, it can be used when supply from the production area is curtailed for whatever reason.
Right. So I know we don't think about it hardly at all in our average day, but gas storage, it is an important part of our daily lives. And if you want to get involved in Edmund's project, we'll get you in touch. Keep an eye out for the contact information as we check out. Thanks again for checking in on Success with Sess, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks again for being on the show.
Thanks, Sess.
You bet.
It was fun.
All right.